Welcome to the Dream Achievers podcast, where we focus on business owners and purpose-driven leaders in our local communities. We meet people every day where we shop, eat, and do life, and want to bring their stories to you each and every Wednesday. Now, let's get to this week's guest.
Hey, welcome back to Dream Achievers. This is Andy, and I'm here today with Clinch View Dairy, and not quite all dairy stuff here behind us that we're looking at today. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
I'm glad to be here. We were chatting ahead of time. I found out when I was looking everything up, this is actually a shared homestead that my family, I had my grandmother that grew up here, so it was kind of a fun thing of being able to go through and talk about some of the sites and everything that's going on. But it's changed a little bit. You're set up, you've got pumpkins and corn behind you.
Yeah.
Let me know, what this is now. How many years you guys have been putting this on?
Well, this is second year as just a corn maze. When I was in high school, me and my sister thought it was a good idea to try to start a haunted corn maze. We did that for 3 years until COVID, and then we kind of quit for safety reasons and because we kind of expected no one to be really getting out, so we quit. And it was also, we were transitioning out of dairy. We got out of that, so we came back this year. This will make 2 years since we quit dairy farming, and second year of the corn maze, so we're trying to grow it a little bit more each year. So.
Well, I can remember a few years ago I interviewed a lady who had transitioned from their family farm being a beef farm and dairy, to they were raising sunflowers. So we're seeing a lot of this as far as these farms that have multi-generational years of just kind of seeing the shifts in what's going on around you. Whether it's easier to be able to do something different for you with time-wise, or just with the land, that things have changed in the demand with that. What was it about corn mazes that you went, hey, that's obviously started with the haunted corn maze, but what was it that was just like, I'm in love with that, I want to do that?
Well, when we start, it'll be a long drawn out answer, but we started, dairying wasn't really working out. We were the last in the county since I think somewhere in the late 2000s, and we knew there was going to eventually probably be an end to it. And we were looking at starting a creamery, and it's anyone that knows anything about farming, it's very expensive to do anything. So that was out of the book. We were kind of hoping, and trying to get some maybe grants or something like that, but it ended up not working out. And me and my sister had the idea that maybe we could start a campground down here or something, and that's pretty expensive too. So we looked. I personally looked at what we had, and we have corn. We grow corn, and we're pretty good at growing it. So you can't tell it this year through the drought, but we're usually pretty good at growing corn. So I asked my mom and grandmother if we could start a corn maze, and they wasn't for sure about it, but they said as long as you handle it, we'll help you and you can use the corn. So we kind of did that and started the haunted corn maze as a foot in the door to get people to know this area, Natchez Ford, and bring people around, because a lot of people don't know just how pretty this valley is. I mean, I've been a lot of places in the county, and this is by far, in my opinion, one of the prettiest valleys in the county. And we'd like to share that with people, whether it's the corn maze or, something all year long like a campground, or, just different little festival type things or whatnot. So
well, when you see all the agritourism that has grown to be a lot more popular in the area, that you have these vast properties, beautiful mountains, you got the river right here at our feet. It's not, if you're not from the area, you take for granted what you really have.
Right.
You do.
And even those that are in the area, maybe you're in the middle of the town of Lebanon, or you're in Honaker, you just don't think about, hey, there's just a few minutes outside of town. It's even different.
Well, for the longest time, I never knew, up until I was, I think, 16, I didn't know that Carterton was a town. It used to be a town in Russell County. So, and I mean, I think Carterton would have made a really pretty town back in the day. So, but.
So when you're going through, you're doing the corn, that you're trying to set up a maze. I've always wondered, how do you lay it out?
Well, the first year we did it, we decided to do it around September 4th, so we were really late to the game when it came to cutting it. So I had to go in by hand and cut it all. I think I was either 17 or 18, I can't exactly remember, but we went in and cut it all by hand and hauled it all out in fodder shocks. I actually have a picture of we had a wagon filled probably 10 feet tall with corn on it, and I tried selling them, but I didn't exactly know enough then. But we did that, and then we went through and stomped it out with a packing device that I got from Lebanon Block, and we did that by hand, so that was pretty tough. But after that I said I'm not doing that again. So I looked up how people do it, and you can pay to have someone come in with the GPS and everything, and I was like, that seems, back to the point of money again, I was like, that seems pretty expensive, so I'll just figure out another way. So we started doing it by lawnmower. We would take it when the corn was about, I don't know, knee high, where I could still see over it, and I'd go into the maze, and whenever I got close to some place that I know I'd been, I could see it, I'd just stop and either turn around, make a dead end, whatnot. And so, but the only bad part is you have to mow it about at least 2 to 3 times, because the corn will just keep coming back where it's short. It's in I don't know exactly the correct terms, but it's in the crook of it. It's in the bottom, so if you bend it over, it's just going to come back up. So
very cool. And so do you still do it that way now, that you
Yeah.
still go through with the mower and you guys?
Yeah, and to keep people from tripping or falling, because we don't want no one to get hurt. And we know how, when I was a kid, I'd run away and like in a maze or something, so we try to take a tiller through it just to make it a little bit smoother and take some of the roughness of the field out of it. This year, like I said, with the drought and stuff, it's been really tough with weeds and stuff. Some of the weed stobs are still there. I want to warn people, just, hey, kind of watch your step a little bit, because we've gotten about halfway through tillering it, and it's all right, but I like it being soft and real nice path for people to walk on.
Yeah,
so.
it's not going to be a mulched pathway that you're walking through.
Yeah.
You're still in a field.
Yeah.
You're still in a field that you're
Yeah.
going through. Now, you guys, I'll show some of the video of this, but you guys have added some different things that you're going to have this year for the kids and stuff that'll be here in the bottom. You want to share a little bit as far as with some of what you've added?
Yeah, last year we just had a basketball game, and we had a catapult that youngins could pull the slingshot back and release the pumpkin, just see how far it could go. This year we have added, we're working on trying to get a catapult, but that's still in the making. But we have pumpkin tic-tac-toe, we have 2 boards, pumpkin bowling. I used to do fall festivals with FFA in high school, and pumpkin bowling was probably one of the most popular games for little kids. We bought a plastic drain pipe to make as a slide. I know Fender's Farms, they use that as well, and there's actually one in the town of Honaker now as a slide. We've added that as well. And his uncle built a little train ride for kids. He made the track and the train and everything, and he's gonna bring it down here this year to share with the kids this year.
It sounds like a STEM research project, that he was tearing apart motors from wheelchairs and mounting them to it and getting everything.
He's retired, so right?
he's got tinker time.
Yeah.
With that. So when you all are, I see this wall of pumpkins behind us. How early are you all starting to set stuff out to be able to get planned to be ready this time of year?
End of July, 1st of August.
Yeah, this year last year it was kind of, I hate to say this and I hated doing it, but it was kind of haphazardly thrown together. And while it worked and I tried to keep it as nice as possible, for a lot of years, for over 50 years, this was a very working farm. There was no time for looks or, to show it off. It was just go, go, go. If you have a piece of metal, it goes in the metal pile that's right beside the driveway that looks horrible. So it's been a lot of cleanup that's went on, and like I said, she said, we started this year around August, and we're still, when you showed up, we just quit weed eating some and picking up some of the stuff that we were working on. So it's a lot, and it's definitely a change from farming, because normally I'm used to that style of farming. you know, your tools go up, but if it's junk, put it in the junk pile, or if there's an old car, like, I don't know if you've got that one in camera over there, but that's, yeah, I mean, it looks pretty rough, so, and it was just stuff like that. I mean, cleaning up, it's hard to get in that habit of cleaning up after yourself, I guess. I mean, it's just like taking care of a home. It's just a lot bigger home.
Yeah,
you know?
it's just a lot bigger undertaking, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, when you're setting out, how would you estimate how many pumpkins do you think that you've grown this year?
Oh Lord.
Well, last year we planted somewhere in the neighborhood of about 500, and we sold out, and I was really bummed about that because you know.
We sold out before the corn maze started.
Yeah.
Last year.
So, and that's what we didn't have any, so I was like, well, I'm not going to have that problem again. And so when I was ordering the pumpkin seeds and everything, it didn't register to me exactly what I was doing. And then we got out and we planted. Even while I was planting, it didn't register what I was doing. And then when I got done, I kid you not, when I got done right over here, I looked back and I was like, I might have made a mistake planting 4,000. So
Oh my goodness.
So, and because I was like that, like I looked at the field, and that's, you know, that's usually how I go by things, is the size of the field and stuff. And I looked at it and I was like, that's a lot. That's quite a few.
Pardon the interruption, but people often ask me, Andy, what is it that I can do to help get started on my own plan? Well, we break it down for you into 5 parts. It's an income plan, investment plan, healthcare, tax minimization, and also an estate plan. It's 5 key areas that we see of your life to be able to maximize this. If you don't have things taken care of for yourself, reach out for your free financial pathway analysis today.
We were able to get the one patch up here, the main one that I wanted, to make sure it has the more carving pumpkins in it. I made sure to get it hoed, and that was from like around 6 in the morning till around 8 or 9, and then from about 7ish in the evening to about 9 during the summer to try to get it hoed. And it took me about 2 weeks to get the 1 acre field done doing that, because like I said, it's a lot, and where they vine out and stuff, and doing hay and everything else that a farm requires. Because
you're still working everying else. It's not just pumpkins and the corn maze.
We just traded milk and cows for pumpkins now, so.
So, you know, obviously we see what you've done to this point. You're getting ready to open up next week. So as this video releases, it'll be the week of opening. You want to share a little bit as far as what people can expect when they show up?
Hopefully a good time. But just hopefully just a good time. I mean, that's what I'm not in it to really like. The only reason I'm in it to make money is to try to expand, like, do tourism stuff. I mean, it's not going in my pocket. I'm not going on no big elaborate vacation. We actually just got married this past Saturday, and we skipped honeymoon. We're just back to work. So, but that's what I mean. We're just trying to grow it and eventually start, like I said, some campgrounds, and we'll still always probably do the corn maze unless something major changes. But like I said, the campground's kind of the end goal, and just really sharing it with the public.
Yeah.
What God's blessed us with, because I mean, there's no way I could do this at 24 with what I make. Even if I had a pretty decent job, you know, I'm just very blessed to have had this, you know, gifted to me, I guess. So. Absolutely.
Well, you know, when people are going and they're picking up a pumpkin, right?
Yeah.
A lot of times, just like any other item that you pick up, if you go to the grocery store, you go through, you don't think of everything it took to be able to get it to that point.
Yeah.
Right.
So, you know, the fact that you're setting it out as seed at the end of July, and then you're hoping that the weather's going to cooperate with you, that everything's going to be fine, and get you to where you're trying to get to in order to be ready this time of year. Right. There's a million things that can go wrong in between.
Yeah.
So, it takes hard work and dedication with what you're doing to be able to get there.
Yeah.
And I think that when you talk to anybody that grew up doing any type of farming, I can remember helping my uncle set tobacco one time. And it took one time of me setting tobacco with the fertilizer spilling down over my head like a shower on the back of the setter.
Yeah.
That I was like, you know what? I probably don't want to do this.
Yeah.
Like, what? Yeah, I don't think that I want to do. Now I'm out, working in the garden and hoeing and doing everything that you were doing back then. But, it's one of those things that people kind of realize, like, all the hard work that goes into it.
Yeah.
I laugh at the people that say, why in the world would you raise chickens? Why don't you just go to the grocery store to buy them? You know, that way it's not inhumane. I'm like, it still came from somewhere.
Right,
It's probably a lot more inhumane where the eggs from the store came from anyway.
Yeah,
so.
it's a totally different animal. So one of the things I've seen you guys have started to set up at the farmers market in Lebanon. So, you know, I'll show the truck here, but, you know, pulling up with that. And I see that a lot of care goes into how you display your stuff. Who was kind of the leading charge behind that to say, we can't just show up with them on the back of a truck. We got to make it look pretty.
Well, it was both of us, more or less. I mean, me, I guess 60 me, and then but I don't. It's hard to haul a ball on a flatbed, and then on top of that, I've always been one that thinks that, you know, when I go somewhere, I try to put myself in other people's shoes, and when I go somewhere, you know, I like being able to see what I'm getting and everything. And we actually bought that truck not intents of selling pumpkins off of it. We bought it for a hay truck, and it just happened to fit perfect with what we was doing. So I like I said though, when I go somewhere and I'm looking around, like, I know aesthetically and as far as like the tangible objects and stuff, and just the vibe, I guess, of the place means a lot to me personally. I like to feel warm and welcome and stuff, and it's crazy how just objects and the way you display something, if it's thrown around haphazardly and just, you know, kind of messy, you're like, well, this guy doesn't really care. This guy doesn't really, you know, take pride in his work. And, you know, a lot of younger kids now, and I mean, this is coming from a younger kid. I'm not, you know, not a kid, but I'm not exactly a full-grown adult yet. I'm still a young man, I would say. But I mean, there's a lot of people that just do not care about the work that they put into something anymore. And I look at things that like my grandfather did and people around, like anytime I'll go into and this may just be because I'm kind of semi in the trades where I'm a farmer, I look at how something's built, and if it looks like it's just thrown together, I'm like, ooh. And like, cause you know, like how much care did they give to put this together? So, and I think there's still people out there that look at that and they're like, well, this is really nice. They cared. And I think even if they don't, you know, if they're thinking of it subconsciously, they may not recognize it when they're thinking of it, but they, you know, when they sit back and if they think about it, they're like, well, that's probably why I did that, because it, you know, you can tell that they took care of what they did and put some pride in it. So,
well, I was talking to somebody the other day, you know, as we look with some of the old farmhouses that are here around us, and the barns, 100+ years old.
Yeah.
And the way that it was built then, not only the fact that lumber was different with all the old growth, but just how much care went into it of being able to put things together and to do it the right way and take your time. Versus now, if a new build home sat empty for 5 years, it would be dilapidated and fallen in.
Yeah, I mean, that house up there, I don't know if you can get a shot of it or not. It may be in the background, but that house up there, I mean, the floors are falling in, but I mean, I'd say if you went in there and threw a couple 2x6s for the floor joist, I'd say you could probably live in it just fine. I mean, that's what this barn up here at the top, the people that owned this land before me, it would have been time your family owned it or owned the farm neighboring. They built that, and I'd say if you was to try to build that today, none of the things that they did would fly, but it's over 100 years old now. Yeah. So, I mean, you gotta look at things, you know, with if it works, it works. And I mean, that definitely worked how they did stuff back then. So
absolutely. So, you know, there's a lot of stuff around us. What would you say is your favorite part when you look around this, getting ready for next week with opening? What's your favorite thing?
My favorite thing probably would be the main entrance of the corn maze in this tower. My all-time favorite is probably the hayride. Just I like being close to water. I've always liked riding on truck beds or this or that. Like I'm an outdoorsy person, and so the hayride makes me feel closer to everything, getting to potentially see otters, you know, living their best life down there, beavers every now and again.
Stealing our corn.
Yeah, absolutely. I caught a squirrel in their corn patch the other day. How about for yourself?
as far as for the guests to enjoy, I'm excited to see how people take to the pumpkin patch. Like I said, we put a lot of work into it, and I hope that people just enjoy it. I'm not, and as far as decoration goes, I mean, probably the baler that's sitting there, because we actually drug. It's set in
That's a lot of work to get that.
It's set in a corner between two barns, and it was across a creek in a swamp under two trees, and it's set there from the original owners of this farm. That was their baler, and they were supposed to come back and get it, and never did.
Goodness.
And
it took 2 tractors to drag it here.
yeah,
Wow.
and I mean, some people think it's silly and stuff, but I think I've always thought it was really cool, and I just wanted to display it for people to see, because it's got a pony motor on it and everything, and you just don't. I've never personally seen another baler like that in person, and I know I'm 90% sure it's from the 20s or 30s. I know it's an international number 45 square baler or something. So one of my buddies there is actually playing there. It's like, do you think a kid's actually going to look at that and be like, oh my goodness, that's a number 45 internet? And I'm like, no, but I mean, they might think it's kind of cool. So
might find you a picture of it online or something and put a placard to say what it is you're looking at.
Yeah.
It's like when you go to Crab Orchard and it's telling you, hey, this is the reaper that was one of the original reapers that made in Virginia, going through with McCormick. So we're down here in Nash's Ford. If somebody's coming over here, let's give some good directions. I know you guys have signs out, but let's give some good directions. If you were coming from Lebanon, what's the easiest way to get here?
Probably to go through Glade Hollow, where the ballpark is, and then
or if you know Spring City too,
Yeah.
that's another way as well.
But you'll eventually come to Copper Ridge Road, and you'll go over a big mountain. If you go over a big mountain, then you're on the right path, and then you pretty much go up and then get to the top and go straight back down. And then when you get to the bottom, you're here from Lebanon's side.
Yeah. So if you're coming from the Lebanon side, the way that I came is like what you said, come by the Glade Hollow ball field, turn left to go up Copper Road, come up, and then slide down.
Yeah.
And then you're down here in the bottom. Actually not too far away from the McLaughlins that featured Chocolate. I'll link that down below as far as with Ellie with Chocolate last year.
And if anyone knows where the Pinnacle is, I mean, it's our neighbor.
Yeah.
That's the Pinnacle right there. So, and that's what if you don't turn up Copper Ridge, you'll end up going towards the Pinnacle. So.
Yeah. Yep. Well, one of the things I always like to end with is what you want to be remembered for. So, with this, you're putting a lot of time and effort into this at a young age to be able to make a difference in people's lives with this. I mean, it'd be very easy to do something else, right? Yeah. This isn't easy work. Any type of farming is not easy work with that. But as people are coming and enjoying this fall, what is it that you want to be remembered for with all the work that you've put in?
Just a good person that liked to do what he loved. That's all anyone can really ask for. I'm not in it to exactly make a name for myself or anything. If we did name the corn maze Big Lee, but that was for a whole different reason. I just thought that was kind of funny and suiting, but I'm not in it to get famous or anything like that, or if I even do, there's no telling. But just remembered as a good person and someone that loved what he did and everything like that. It's all I can ask for. So
cool. How about for you?
For me, fall has always been my favorite time of the year. Always has been. I've always loved to do farming as well. I got in it more seriously when I met him 3.5 years ago. I would probably say that I mostly want to be remembered by being the one that wanted to share her hopes and dreams with everyone else. Her favorite things to do, see all the kids having fun, smiling, parents getting to get their kids out to stuff like this, because there's not stuff like this in the area very much anymore. Just get to see everybody come out close to home and have just as good of a time as you could going anywhere else.
Yeah. I think it took me 15 minutes from Lebanon to get over here. It's not far at all. Then to your point that this is stuff people are traveling an hour plus to go do.
Right.
And you don't have to. You can stay right here in Russell County. You can enjoy stuff that's in the area,
right.
And support small town business, farming, agritourism, everything in the area that is so passionate right now with what's going on. Well, guys, I appreciate it. I'll walk around here just a little bit with you guys. That we'll mix in some stuff that as far as showing everybody. But I appreciate your time to be able to go through. And until next time, this is Andy with Dream Achievers telling you I'll catch you down the road.